Our story is set in the land of deep forests and countless lakes. Once strangers to this country, we now proudly call this slice of Sweden our home. I'm Alex, and this is my wife Sarah. Originally from Germany, we embarked on a life-changing journey that brought us here.
When we set foot in this country 2 years ago, we didn't know yet that we would actually never leave. We had a fun road trip in mind that took us all the way to the north of Sweden, and it should have lasted a couple of months, but this trip turned into the adventure of a lifetime. We saw so much of the country, we fell in love with the nature, we fell in love with the outdoors. And then we spent the summer in a tiny Airbnb by a lake, and that's when something really clicked for us. We went swimming every morning, we took the canoes out in the evening, and it was just so magical and special. I remember that we used to wander around the neighborhood and, look at the houses and sneak around, and we dreamed about what it would be like to one day have a place like this of our own. Over the course of the next months, the quest for our dream lake house, our potential dream lake house, became a shared vision. Not only did we want to grow roots in this country, but so did my parents, and we figured, why not do this together and find a property that would be a home not only to the four of us as a multi-generational home, but also for future generations to come. And I could now tell this whole story of how we looked for houses for months and never really worked out, and then one day we found it. But the truth is, we nailed it on the first try. It was like the house found us. The only house we ever looked at, and as soon as we drove down the road and we saw the house and the lake, we knew that was it.
Die ersten Impressionen.
In the cold weather, we were like, oh, that's different.
Then finally the day arrived, where just the two of us, with the help of our friends, made our big move to the new house.
Tschüss!
Tschüss! We didn't bring any furniture, except for desks. That's why we had to sit and dine on old, creaky wooden chairs and a, picnic blanket as a carpet on our first evening.
Day 2 at the house.
Anyone who has ever moved knows that in the first few weeks it can be very chaotic. But I think it's also a lot of fun because you are finding stuff you didn't know you had, and also you don't have places where you can put your stuff in from unpacking all those boxes.
And that's the view!
As with any story, finding our home was just the beginning. Next came the chapter of making it truly ours. We had bought the house together with Sarah's parents, who were supposed to arrive at the same time. However, their arrival was delayed by a couple of months. So we began this journey alone. Of course, buying a house in a foreign country came with its own challenges. Initially, we had no internet connection. For two people who work from home, this meant setting up our makeshift office in a cozy cafe in town. A small challenge perhaps, but it taught us patience that we would need in the coming weeks. It all began with our heating system, a mystery that needed solving as winter was approaching fast. You see, the only instructions we had been given were quite basic: turn on a pump and heat the oven. The trouble was, we had no idea how everything was connected. With the help of a local expert, we slowly found out that the oven played a crucial role in the heating system, so it became clear that we needed a lot more firewood. Typically, you prepare for winter during the summer months, ordering firewood well in advance. However, since we hadn't yet moved in, finding someone with dry firewood was a challenging task. Thankfully, there was someone in our village who still had enough to get us over the next weeks. As time passed, we began to find our rhythm in our new home. Our once empty rooms started to feel cozier as we got our first pieces of furniture. And speaking of transformations, we also kicked off a kitchen renovation project. While the house is relatively new, built in 2015, and didn't require any major fixes, we wanted to put our personal touch on it to make it truly ours. We have a whole video on the kitchen renovation, so don't forget to check that out. During this period, we also decided to expand our family in a slightly different way, by adopting a little black cat, Amos. So, as winter settled in, our little family of three cozied up in our home. With the arrival of spring and summer, our attention naturally turned to the outdoors. It was time for hands-on projects. One of the most exciting projects during this time was crafting outdoor furniture using wood from our very own property. Not only was the process really fun, it also turned out to be incredibly rewarding. Building each piece from scratch, we felt a deep sense of accomplishment. We also committed ourselves to growing a little vegetable and herb garden. We planted tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, spinach, fennel, salad, and lots of herbs. Watching these plants grow from tiny seeds to the first harvest was really cool. We promised ourselves to plant even more next year. Speaking of promises, our first summer by the lake held one of the most cherished moments of our journey so far. Our small and intimate wedding celebrated right here at home, surrounded by friends and family. It was a day deeply connected to nature and our love for this place. What made it truly special was that we had decorated everything ourselves with the help of our family, using flowers from the very nature that surrounds us here. And the rain made it even more special.
Oh, that's huh? Next time you have to save the water. Yeah, exactly.
Our wedding day is a memory that means the world to us, forever tying us to this place.
With shovels and pans, we dig in the earth in search of the treasure.
What we have realized in the few couple of months that we have lived in this house now is that a lake house is not only a house, it's an experience. It's just like you're surrounded by nature's elements all of the time, and you begin to truly cherish all of them. Whether it's a hot summer day or a rainy afternoon, the lake is like an ever-changing canvas, and you always find something new, beautiful and interesting to look at. And what we've also realized is that a house is so much work. You basically find something to do every minute of the day, but it's so fulfilling and it's so worth it.
But dreams often fade like the colors of dawn, and the gold rush would change just before it was born. Oh, the gold rush, the fever that burned in the rush for riches. Lessons were learned from every corner. They came from afar, seeking their fortune beneath the northern star, seeking their fortune beneath the northern star. In the annals of history, the gold rush remains.
We have so many exciting plans, and we can't wait to take you along on this journey. And you know, our journey is as much about finding a house as it is about cherishing the bonds that make this place a home. And if our vision and our story resonates with you, then we'd be happy if you subscribe to our channel, and we see you in the next video.